today is one of those really difficult conversations because we're talking about the characteristics of the unenlightened. What is that? We're about to unpack that for you. But as we begin today, I want to ask you to do one thing. Please don't judge. Please listen with an open mind. And then let these thoughts roll through your head as you unpack them and what that means for you in your personal life. Because you might discover after today's conversation that you start looking at things in a slightly different way. Please help me welcome Omuugn.
Good morning. It's good to be here. A beautiful day.
Is it possible to go through life and never question anything and just drift aimlessly along from birth until death, and whatever happens in between, and it is what it is?
You know, it's interesting. When you interact with people, look at what people are really talking about, what the issues really are, and you'll find most of the time a very surface level conversation. Most people are going to talk about the weather and superficial things. So when we're talking about enlightenment, we're talking about a whole different level of reality. We're talking about getting into the nuts and bolts of what you believe and why you believe what you believe and what you do with what you believe and whether or not your belief is accurate. A lot of us have false beliefs because of our environment, the schools that we went to and the teachers that taught us, the cultural things, the traditional things, societal things. We're influenced by all of those factors. And so we have a certain belief system. And a lot of times we don't question. Having an open mind, being curious, asking questions. If we stop and look at the way nature works, how the world renews itself, and how things are growing and changing and developing, being mindful of those things is a totally different world than just being entertained and sliding by on the surface of things.
What do you do in a situation where you have your own moment of enlightenment and there's another person that has their own moment of enlightenment, but they happen to conflict and they both think they're right?
We do that all of the time because every person has their own belief system. They were raised a different way. They were taught different things. They've had different experiences. They've interacted with different people. They've read different books. So everyone has put their life together according to what they believe. Most people believe that what they believe is true and it's accurate. Even to question our own belief system takes us out of our comfort zone into a place that's, for some, a very scary place. It's an interesting journey because we just usually think that we're who we are without giving deep thought to who we are and why we are who we are. We have a tendency not to move out of our comfort zone. We don't want to go out onto the fringe of new ideas and new concepts and exciting possibilities. Maturity takes place on a lot of different levels. A lot of people get older without maturing emotionally or intellectually or socially or religiously, or on and on it goes. Unless you stop and question things, you don't really learn and you're satisfied with where you are. The reality is that every day is a new day. When you go to sleep at night, your conscious mind shuts off and you go into a world of alternate reality. You dream different things and you have different experiences. Some people have lucid dreams where they're actually given information that is profound for them. Some people have nightmares of maybe what they're filling their minds with in their entertainment world. Being mindful is living in the present moment. This present moment is filled with possibilities, is filled with information, is filled with excitement. This moment is exciting. Life is exciting. And if you're mindful of the possibilities, it just takes you into a different world, a world of clarity and purpose. We live in a world today that is crazy. We have people crossing our borders, influencing our nation, our communities. They have different belief systems and different cultures, and we have $33 trillion of debt. What does that mean? Sometimes we just go on day after day without giving that a second thought. It has to impact our country in a certain way. And it's interesting that the last I heard, there were only 13% of people who thought Congress was moving in the right direction. Most people in our country don't even agree with the people that they have elected to represent them. We have riots in the streets, and people are carrying signs and causing a big ruckus, and we, as a nation, let them do that. It's interesting that some of our major cities, like San Francisco, downtown San Francisco has now shut down. The homeless people have moved in, and there's a whole new culture there. Where does everyone stand on those issues? I mean, those are serious issues. It's a whole new reality that's happening around us. Are we really enlightened? Why would enlightened people let all of these things happen?
In honor of your time, I will let you go, but I really enjoyed today's conversation. This is the highlight of my week. I love looking forward to these conversations when we can dig below the surface and we can ask different questions of each other and of ourselves, because it is in these moments that we say, wait a second, the world is different than I actually thought it was. And that gives us a chance to go out there and be somebody new and a better version of ourselves.
Thank you for having me today.